Welcome to the Community Difference, Collin County. The show where community comes first, leadership is amplified, and impact is the expectation, not the exception. Covering 12 thriving municipalities across Collin County, we spotlight the professionals, creatives, nonprofit leaders, and bold connectors who are shaping the future of North Texas. From McKinney to Melissa, from Plano to Prosper, from Frisco to Fairview. Each episode dives into the issues that matter most to our local business and civic communities. From leadership and entrepreneurship to education, economic growth, service, innovation, and the power of collaboration. If it impacts how we live, lead, or grow in Collin County, we talk about it. The Community Difference is powered by the Business Development Alliance and made possible by the Difference Media LLC. With a trusted team of co-hosts who live, work, and lead in the communities we serve, this show is built on collaboration and powered by people who care. Now, getting today's conversation started, your host, Brian Poduska.
All right, good afternoon, Collin County, Texas. It has a nice ring to it. We, as you heard in the intro, we have a new intro and we have a new scope of the show, and that is expanded to Collin County, Texas. We used to be Community Difference Frisco, and we have expanded that scope to include all of Collin County. So good afternoon, Collin County, Texas. This is their new opening to the show. And welcome to the Community Difference Collin County. We are a podcast firmly rooted at the intersection of business development and community involvement. I am Brian Poduska. I'm the host of the show. I am also the owner of Real Property Management Focus, which is located in Frisco, Texas, within Collin County. And we operate throughout Collin County and all of the DFW area. If you haven't seen our show before, we haven't changed the format that much. We've just expanded the scope. And what we typically do is put the spotlight on 5 different types of community leaders. That would be business owners and entrepreneurs, community leaders, think politicians, board members, committee members, things like that, ISD leadership, nonprofit leadership, and we still have a sports contingent in there, so sports leadership as well. Frisco is Sports City, USA, but I would say North Texas in general is kind of sports county, sports area, USA. So we're going to continue to put the spotlight on leaders in sports and how that is integrated with our communities and how sports organizations are leaders in the communities. If you've seen our show, we have rotating co-hosts. We haven't changed that. So what I want to do right now is introduce our co-host for the week. Our first co-host can name that tune in 2 notes, prefers her margaritas with sangria, once took a graceful dive down a staircase with an award in hand. Miss Bethany Rowan isn't just a top-notch realtor. She's proof that personality and presence are the secret sauce of small business success. Today, she joins us to talk about why the Chambers of Commerce is more than just a network. It's the heartbeat behind everything thriving in a local story. Let's say hello to Bethany Rowan. Bethany, you are on mute. So if you have not seen the show, you don't know that we're live. So what you see is what you get, and sometimes we have muted microphones, and sometimes we have technical difficulties. I see your mute button is off. So hi, Bethany. How are you?
Hi. Thank you for having me. The mute button is typically to hide my pups that will want to say hello during the broadcast. So I try to keep that muted as much as possible. So thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here. Yes, I am Bethany Rowan with Rowan Realty. I have been in this community for over 22 years. I've recently moved my residence from the Frisco area to the Salina McKinney area. So I am still residing in the Collin County location and love all the things that are just new. And it feels like I live in a different place, even though I'm like 20 miles from where I lived before. So I'm excited to be here and proud to be a part of this podcast and sharing what all the Chamber of Commerce have to say in our area today.
Well, I love it, and I love the perspective because, you lived in Frisco for a long time. You were a principal at a Frisco ISD school. So very involved in the community there. Now you get to kind of expand and spread your wings up in Salina. So I love the fact that we've expanded the scope of the area that we're covering, and frankly the amount of people that we get to meet as we introduce our audience and then ourselves to a lot of the community leaders in the area. So love that you have that perspective now that you're up in Salina.
Well, and I do love that, Brian, because education is at the heart of what I've always done. For 22 years, I was in it in Frisco, 16 of those years. But coming up here to the Salina area and seeing it's almost like a replay in my mind of the growth and the excitement that's happening up here in this area, and to be able to still establish myself in the community here as an ambassador for the chamber, and just to learn everything that's going on in this area. It has been incredible. So I'm excited to be a part of everything the Community Difference has to offer for Collin County.
Awesome. Well, we're going to hear about the growth here coming up shortly. First, let's bring in our other co-host for the day. She can ride a horse with a glass of wine and not spill a drop, but hand her a cheese stick at TGI Fridays and it's a completely different story. Lauren Gill is a travel advisor who's navigated everything from international itineraries to nasal cheese incidents. She's here to share how kindness, connection, and community, like the kind you find at your local chamber, can take your business places even a passport cannot. Let's say hello to Lauren Gill.
Hello.
Hi, Lauren.
Good to see y'all. Bethany, I have you beat. I've been in Collin County since 1990. No need to do any math.
Okay.
Yep. Briefly went to Houston for 6 years, but I have seen a ton of growth in the county since that time, and I am coming live from Plano, in fact.
Well, yeah, I won't do the math on that because you must have just been born in 1990 or close to it, right? So, no, another great perspective, having seen, our sister cities to the south grow immensely through Frisco, and as we go north, that's where the growth is now, north and east. And we're going to hear from some of those chambers of commerce and the challenges and opportunities that growth has presented to them and to their communities. So excited to have you ladies on. Appreciate you guys coming on. And, as we're in kind of a new format here, it's kind of exciting, right? We're breaking new ground and spreading our wings as we go.
I feel solid that you forgot what our team name is and didn't introduce us in that way.
That's
so
true.
You might need to try that again.
We'll get better. There's always improvement opportunity areas.
Yes.
All right. So what I want to do is, I know we're going to embarrass him, but I do want to introduce the man behind the scenes, the Wizard of Oz, so to speak, for the Community Difference. His name is Landon Wilson. He is the creator of the Difference Media LLC and someone who literally risked it all. Like the one time he almost didn't make it down safely while skydiving. Lucky for us, he is here to break things down to the sky high impact. Oh, wait, sorry. Let's just say hello to Landon. My read here is not correct. So let's say hi to Landon. Landon, what's up, man?
Oh, not much. Glad to be here.
Well,
We're glad you're here too.
I know you're going to be chiming in a little bit on the discussion, so I wanted people to at least know who the voice behind the curtain is. We've come a long way in the 6 years we've been doing this in various different formats and various different agendas, and I'm excited as to where we're at now and the direction that we're going. What I wanted to do real quickly before we bring in our guests with the three different chambers of commerce here in the area is just kind of give a recap of what we did in the month of June, and then kind of what we did a little bit previous to that. So if you didn't see our shows in the month of June, we basically had the month of PGA of America, right? We had the 2025 Women's PGA Championship, which was the third week of June. And as part of that, it was right here in Frisco at Fields Ranch East Course. And there was a lot of community involvement in that event. So it wasn't just the PGA putting it on. There were a lot of different entities involved in getting that off the ground. So we were kind of there riding shotgun with them through a lot of it. We started with Media Day in the beginning of the month. We interviewed Ashley Miller, who's the general chair of the event. Ashley's very involved in the Frisco community. It was an awesome, roughly 45 minutes to an hour with Ashley. She shared all the challenges and opportunities that went along and frankly were coming at that time for her and for the city of Frisco. We also interviewed the number one ranked in the world golfer, Luke Colton. He is a Wakeland High School student and resident of Frisco, and his dad kind of came along for the ride, and we had a great interview with him. Learned how the city of Frisco was instrumental in them relocating to the city of Frisco. The PGA of America brought them to Frisco in particular. So just an example of what that whole entity means to the city of Frisco and the sport of golf, right? We interviewed Jason Mengel, who is the championships director with the PGA of America, the week heading into the tournament itself, and learned just how much planning goes into it, just all the details that he has to deal with. Learned a little bit about how he has fun around town as well, but that was a great interview. So again, if you haven't seen these shows and want to learn more about the PGA of America and the tournament itself, go back to our YouTube page, check that out. A lot of great content there. And then our final show for the month, we were live from the PGA of America broadcasting the opening day of the tournament. So the 2025 PGA Women's Championship, we were sitting in a conference room right there at PGA of America. We had an interview with David Ovard, who was a gentleman very instrumental in bringing the PGA of America to the city of Frisco, relocating from Florida. We got to learn some of the stuff that happened behind the scenes to make that happen, why Frisco was a draw, how they had to convince a worldwide organization who was happy where they were, what the city of Frisco had to offer them and why it made sense for them. So got into that discussion and quite intriguing. And I really enjoyed our time with David. So that's a half long-winded way of describing what we did in June, but it was super exciting. You ladies were along for most of that ride and different parts of it. So, hopefully you guys took as much out of it as I did. What we also did in the month of June was we had our BDA, which had a panel discussion with local chambers of commerce leaders. So we had multiple things going on in the month. And frankly, it was such a resounding success, and we had a lot of feedback that we wanted to dive deeper into and allow some of these chambers of commerce to talk about what's going on in their localities, right? And there's a lot of things a lot of challenges that they have in common, but there's also a lot of different challenges that some of the different communities offer. So we wanted to bring them back on in the podcast format to really dive deep with them, to allow them to talk about their specific chambers. So that's what we're doing this month. And I've been doing a lot of talking. So Lennon, please bring on our featured guests from the Chambers of Commerce, let them introduce themselves, and then we'll take a quick break. So Beth, I think you were on first backstage. So Beth, let's start with you. Please introduce yourself and tell us who you're with.
My name is Beth Wilhite, and I am the President CEO of the Princeton Lowry Crossing Chamber of Commerce.
Awesome. Thank you, Beth. And we look forward to learning more. Just again, for context, Beth wasn't able to participate in our panel discussion, so we might have some more specific questions for you regarding Princeton, especially in our subsequent panel discussion that we had with EDC members. Princeton came up a lot of Princeton talk came up as one of the fastest growing cities, if not the fastest growing city in the U.S. So I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit later. But thank you for the intro, Beth. Marianne, let's move on to you. Marianne, can you please introduce yourself and tell us who you are with?
Absolutely. I'm Marianne Olson. I am the membership coordinator for the Wiley Area Chamber of Commerce, as well as ad sales for the Wiley Area Connection publication. I really appreciate you having us on. We always appreciate the opportunity to get on and brag about our chamber, brag about our members, as well as our city partners and that kind of thing. So thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, and thank you for spending some time with us this afternoon.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, Ms. Barb Duck, please introduce yourself. You were a member of the panel discussion, but let's reintroduce yourself to the podcast audience as well.
Yeah, I am Barb Delk. I am the Business Development Director for the McKinney Chamber of Commerce. And thank you so much for allowing me to participate today.
100%. Well, we're happy to have you back and sharing about McKinney as well. So with that, thank you all for the intros. What we're going to do right now is take a quick commercial break, give our sponsors some love. We're going to come back and talk about what's going on around Collin County, all of the birds. So stick around. We'll be right back.
The community difference, Collin County, is made possible by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus, Bethany Ralwin with the Beer Alwin Realty Group, Jax Kreider with PBJ Mortgage, Debbie Watson with Abracadoodle, and by Lauren Gill with My Live, Love Travel. The community difference, Collin County. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's Up, Collin County?
All right, welcome back. We're going to talk about what's up in Collin County. I'm still getting used to that sounder. It used to be what's up Frisco, and the added syllable throws me off a little bit. So I'll get used to it, but we're going to go ladies first, and I've got a lot of ladies to choose from today. Let's let our guests go first. We're just going to go around the horn and talk about what's going on in Collin County. Barb, let's start with you. We're going to go counterclockwise on my screen. So, Barb, why don't you tell us what's going on in the city of McKinney and what you guys are doing with the chamber?
Oh gosh, what hasn't been going on in the city of McKinney? I think our biggest and most excited announcement we made is the amphitheater that's coming to McKinney. It's going to be on the corner of 75 and 121. We broke ground a couple of weeks ago. It's a 20,000 seat outdoor venue. It's going to be huge. It's actually going to have this incredible airstream to allow it to stay cool in hot weather and a little warmer in cold weather. But we are just so excited with that. We hope to bring in more hotels to help support that and just develop that area. So that's our big news coming out of McKinney.
Love it. And then you also had been mentioning something that you guys were partnering with the McKinney ISD on, specific with the chamber. Why don't you tell the audience about that?
Yeah, so at the end of July 30th, we partner with the McKinney ISD to do their new hire breakfast. That is when we gather all of the new teachers that change from either campus to campus or are hired brand new with the paraprofessionals and office staff. And there's about 500 all in attendance, and that includes several businesses that come out and support the kickoff of the new school year. And as one of our largest employers in the city of McKinney and as our school district, it's really important that we support them on this endeavor and really develop that workforce initiative of the students coming out of the high schools.
Love it. And follow-up question for you. I've dubbed it myself the Aikman Arena. I'm sure that's not going to go very far. But the amphitheater that you mentioned up front, what is the delivery date?
They're shooting for, with all fingers crossed, the end of 2026, before the holidays. So
awesome.
Yep. So we're excited.
Yep. Big time. Making some press for sure. All right. Well, let's move on. Beth, why don't you share what's going on in the city of Princeton and surrounding area?
So other than being the fastest growing city in the nation, as you mentioned, the chamber is busy as well. The thing we have going on later this month, July 26th, is our back to school bash. Businesses come together and individuals in the community to give backpacks back to students in the Princeton ISD. We also do have a chamber member that does free vision screenings, a chamber member, and along with our Kate Center at the Princeton ISD that does free haircuts. We have businesses that have vendor tables, and it's just a good time for get the kiddos started out with some supplies and ready to go. I'm sure they're excited to start school.
Sure, that's the key word that they're definitely excited. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Beth. All right, Marianne, what you got? What's going on in Wiley?
Yeah, so we've got a lot going on. I'm going to focus on two different things. So first, let's go with the big event. So our Wiley Championship Rodeo is coming up September 12th and 13th. It sounds like it's a while away. It's not. It will be here before you know it. It's a 2-night event. Huge. It brings thousands of people to town. It is a big deal. We have a good time planning it. So vendor registration is open. You can already buy your rodeo tickets. And then we also have, goodness, our sponsorships are going really fast. But we do have a few left. And that comes with some VIP stuff and that kind of thing. But I would recommend that everybody check wileychamber.org and go to events and check out the Wiley Championship Rodeo. It is a sanctioned event. So it's always a good time. And the kids really enjoy it as well. So we're looking forward to that. And then we also have some big news. Last week, the Wiley Area Connection publication, Meet the Professionals, came out and landed in mailboxes on July 2nd. This is the first time we've done a publication like this. Historically, this publication we did 6 times a year. It was a magazine. And so it ran its course. It did its thing. It was a wonderful publication, but last year we changed it. So that one came out last week. We're very excited about it. We have so many business professionals and leaders that are profiled. We got the opportunity to not just advertise their business, but actually talk about them as humans, right? Their families, maybe we've got a juggler, maybe, their talents, some other things besides just their business. So if you need a copy, let me know. And then we are already working on our now award-winning community resource and business directory that's going to come out in December. So we won a major award a couple of weeks ago, one out of about 400 entrants, first place in print and media publication from the Texas Chamber of Commerce Executive. So we're very excited about that too. Now that one, you have to be a member to be in. So, but a lot of stuff going on, and I will definitely encourage people to check out wileychamber.org to learn all the details.
Love it. All right. Thank you, Marianne. Let's move on to our co-host. Lauren, why don't you tell us what's going on?
All right. So I am actually focused on Collin County today and not just a specific city. And this really spoke to me as a travel advisor. I don't know if y'all have dealt with the headache of trying to get a passport or renew your passport. I don't want to throw shade on the USPS, but oftentimes people go out there and they cannot find an appointment to be had. And so I'm excited to share that starting back in June, the Collin County District Clerk's Passport Office launched a Walk-Up Wednesday. And so it's a no appointment convenient option from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. where you can walk up any resident of Collin County, obtain a first-time passport, or if you need to do a renewal for minors or for adults. Appointments will not be accepted on Wednesdays, but if you are in need of a new passport, this is a great option for you because you could just walk up and not try to go through the whole rigmarole of getting an appointment. And then the second thing that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention is on July 26th, the North Collin County HOA Legal Clinic is going to be hosted by the cities of Anna, Salina, McKinney, and Prosper. It's going to be from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Prosper Town Hall. And so it's a morning of training, connection, and learning. And so board members of HOAs, community managers, and committee members are invited to attend. I don't know about y'all. I hear a lot of things about Airbnbs, and that's something that HOAs are really looking at. So if this is something where you're in leadership and you'd like to learn more, it's a great opportunity.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you for that. And I may have to take you up on that Wednesday passport opening.
Yeah, right.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. Bethany, what you got going on?
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations to all the chambers and the exciting things they have going on. Keeping in line with the dynamic duo and what we like to do on the weekends, we can start out in Salina on Friday night. Salina has an awesome market on this Friday. It's actually every Friday from 6 to 9. And it's over 60 local vendors that will be there. Everything from food to jewelry to, and then just the restaurants that are there on the square to shop the square and enjoy the evening of, I believe, what Salina is working to copy McKinney's downtown, because who doesn't want to copy McKinney's downtown? Barb, I think you would speak highly of that and say whoop whoop to that. Because also in McKinney on Saturday, then Lauren and I will make our way. They are doing a Marg and Walk time.
Oh, yes.
This Saturday. It's coming up. So it's a Marg and Shop time, which means margaritas and shopping. What two things go together any better than those two? It does require a ticket. Buying online before the event is beneficial. $35 online and then $43 there at the event. But it does come with 15 stops. 15 stops of margarita tastings and then shopping, and then what could be better than that? And then the only other thing I want to bring up, Brian, which this is not necessarily a Collin County thing, but the Rangers and the Astros are meeting this weekend, which is a big deal. We always have a big thing going on with the Rangers and the Astros meeting together. And if you don't want to drive all the way over to Arlington to actually watch the event, the Cosm in Grand Prairie will be playing the game as well this weekend. So if you want to go to a really great event and watch our teams play, I say our because I actually grew up in Houston, but now I'm up here, so all my Houston people are like, "What are you doing? You used to be an Astro, now you're a Ranger." I'm like, I don't know. But anyway, good camaraderie and good sportsmanship coming if you're a baseball fan. And Cosm over at Grandscape is a great place to catch that this weekend.
Yep, good call. So, yep, Cosm and Grandscape right there in the Colony, right off of 121. Very cool place to watch a ball game. You guys know my affinity. My baseball alliance and allegiance stands with the Chicago Cubs.
Yes.
But my American League team, it's okay. My American League team is the Texas Rangers, so I will go out and support the Rangers this weekend.
Nice.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Bethany. Good stuff there. I will go last, and I will talk about some things going on in Frisco. First and foremost, congratulations go out to Frisco's two newest city council members who were sworn in the first of the month of July, Bert Thacker and Jared Alad. They were on our show as we were going through, the election times, and we offered up spots to each and every city council member on the ballot. So both of them took up the offer and came on the show, and they eventually won in a runoff election for places 4 and 2. So congratulations to Bert Thacker and Jared Alad, and their term goes through May of 2028. Sticking on the city council announcements, there was an approved homestead exemption increase. We are now up to 20% starting next year. So our homestead exemption in Frisco is 20%. So congratulations to the city council on years worth of work to make that happen. We had gone from 15% up, it didn't increase a couple of years ago to that, and now we're up to 20%. So thank you to the city leadership for getting that passed. Also, if you're interested in getting involved in the city, the city boards and committee applications are now being received. So July 1st through the end of the month, July 31st, you can apply to any city board or commission that suits your passion. They're open to any and all. So please, we hear a lot of I'll call it negativity or at least objection to what's going on in the city. So if you want to change things, get involved, get in a committee, get on a board, get yourself active, right? So those applications are being accepted through July 31st. I'll switch gears to the Parks and Rec. July is Parks and Rec month. and that's not just in Frisco, that's everywhere. In Frisco in particular, there's a pretty cool little contest called Find Walnut. Walnut looks like it's a little squirrel maybe, but there's a little thing with walnut on it that's hidden in a Frisco park. If you want to go find walnut, you have to get on the Play Frisco Parks and Rec Instagram account, and there are hints being dropped in there. Every Wednesday is Find Walnut Wednesday in the city of Frisco. So a cool way to get out there and enjoy the parks here in Frisco. Also wanted to call out a few things. We talked quite a bit about our partnership with the PGA of America last month. They have a lot of activities always going on in PGA of America specific to tomorrow. It's movie night every Friday. Tomorrow they are showing Elemental at the PGA District on the big screen right there on the lawn. That's from 8 to 10 p.m. There's also quite a few clinics going on this weekend. A junior golf clinic on Saturday from 11 to noon. So if you've got a kiddo who's interested in getting involved in golf, that would be a great way to do it. It's up at the coaching center at the PGA of America. There's also a short game assessment on Saturday from 12 to 1:30. I could certainly use help in my short game, so I may actually sign up for that. Again, it's on Saturday from 12 to 1:30. And then there's something called the Try Golf Clinic. So it's really an introduction to the sport of golf. You don't have to have any skill. You don't have to have any equipment. You sign up for this clinic, and I believe it's an hour and a half, something like that. There are multiple sessions over the weekend, so go to the PGA Frisco site, and you can sign up for one of those.
Bethany, you and I should do that after the margaritas.
I was about to say, that looks like a second trip after the McKinney Square.
That's what's called swing grease, ladies. So the margaritas are swing grease. It loosens up the swing a little bit. Get out there and learn how awesome the sport of golf is. And then finally, what I want to do is just mention Kaleidoscope Park activities. So Kaleidoscope Park is one of the newest parks in Frisco. It's gorgeous. It's awesome. Every Saturday morning, they have fitness classes free. They have various different fitness classes each week. That goes from 8 to 9 a.m. There's a farmer's market at Kaleidoscope Park every Saturday, also 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's hosted by the Frisco Rotary Club. So go out there and check that out. And then this Saturday in particular, there is Community Sports Day. So that's from 9 a.m. to noon. Several of our partners are involved in that. The Rough Riders, Legends, Stars, FC Dallas, Main Event, Stonebriar Country Club. They're all going to be sponsors there, having activities, giveaways, mascots, all fun stuff. Bring your kiddos out on Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to noon to check that out at Kaleidoscope Park. And that wraps it up for the city of Frisco. Anything else that you ladies want to add? I know we've gone over time a little bit on the What's Up segment, but since we've expanded to Collin County, we have a lot to cover. So there is no lack of activity going on, even in the summer heats. It is here, but there are tons of fun things to do indoors and out in Collin County. So with that, that'll wrap up our What's Up segment. What we're going to do now is take a quick commercial break. Excuse me. And we are going to dive into the Chamber of Commerce, what it means to your community and what it means to the communities that these ladies serve in. So stick around. We're going to get to the meat of that next.
Breaking barriers, creating opportunity, and redefining influence. To our incredible partners, co-hosts, and those who stand with us in the difference. You probably noticed it. The resistance, the pushback, the whispers in the background. Why? Because we are disrupting the power balance that has kept too many people in the shadows for far too long. For years, certain voices in our communities have been shut out, overlooked, and underestimated. While select few control who gets seen, who gets heard, and who gets remembered. That's not just unfair, it's unproductive. We are changing that. We are creating a platform where influence is reserved for privileged few, where business leaders, community builders, and change makers who have been ignored finally get their spotlight, their voice, and their seat at the table. And that makes some people uncomfortable, because when you open doors that were once locked, when you introduce new voices into spaces that were once exclusive, when you prove that success isn't dictated by a small circle of gatekeepers, it shakes the foundation of the old way of doing things. But here's the truth. We're not here to ask for permission. We are here to build something bigger, stronger, and more inclusive. We are here to create opportunity, visibility, and impact for those who have been left out of the conversation. And if that makes them uncomfortable, so be it. Growth is uncomfortable. Disruption is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. But progress? That's unstoppable. To our partners and co-hosts, keep showing up. Keep amplifying voices that deserve to be heard. Keep proving that collaboration, visibility, and authenticity are stronger than exclusivity. We're the difference. Not because we say so, but because we show up, stand up, and build up. Let's keep making waves.
And now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. I love that commercial because it kind of embodies exactly what we've been doing since we started doing what we're doing on the community difference and the difference in general. Perfect example of that was our BDA panel from not last month, but the month prior, where we put the spotlight and had feature speakers from chambers of commerce. The BDA is the Business Development Alliance. That is an in-person meeting where it's at the NAC Theater in downtown Frisco. Wonderful venue. And we basically combine networking with education and spotlighting local, in this case it was chambers, but local events, right? Local community leaders, community organizations. And the Chamber of Commerce one that we had in May happened to be the first one that we did at NAC Theater, and it was phenomenal. We had wonderful content that was shared by everybody on that panel. And I think the audience members, I mean, I don't think, I know, because we got feedback from it, that they all learned quite a bit about how the chamber can help them and then how they can get involved in the Chamber of Commerce in their particular venue that they live in or that they operate in. So what I wanted to mention that because what we're doing now with the podcast this month is, going back with the Chambers of Commerce leaders and diving a little bit deeper into what it is that they do. And that's the first question that I want to start this conversation off with. Very high level, very general. People hear about a Chamber of Commerce. The question to the ladies in the chambers, what does a Chamber of Commerce do? What is your main job? And who wants to answer first? I know it's a tough question, but who wants to answer first?
I'll go ahead and answer.
Go ahead.
I would say it's not really that tough of an answer. The Chambers of Commerce historically have been around for a very long time. Some 100 years, right? Now we've been around, it'll be 50 years next year. We are the hub of the business community, right? We're a nonprofit business league. We consider ourselves a place where people, small business, large business, whatever the case may be, can come and network and mentor each other, develop referral partnerships, that kind of thing. We basically provide those opportunities, right? Now, also historically, a while back, we were also the phone book or the, all sorts of different things. We were Google before, Google. So a lot of that is still around, right? And it still happens. But I would have to say that I don't mind it one bit. You need information on just about anything, call us at the chamber. We would love to answer that and at least point you in the right direction if it's not something that we do. But I also feel like we just develop these opportunities, and especially in the last several years for small business owners and brand new entrepreneurs. The coolest thing about what I do, I feel like, is getting to watch brand new entrepreneurs get their first 50 customers, 100 customers, Google reviews, and cheerleaders from the business meetings that we offer. And suddenly they've got this backing behind them that is momentum that they can't be stopped, and their businesses explode. And I think that's one of the most fulfilling parts about what chambers do. And, it hasn't always been that way. I mean, there's a lot more. We provide programs like our ambassador programs, ways to volunteer. Leadership Wiley is a big one. I know a lot of the chambers have leadership programs, and we are developing the leaders of the next generation or current generations or the past generations, whatever the case may be. So it's hard to pinpoint one thing that we do. I would say that we do a whole lot of it, but what is your need and how can we meet that?
Love it. Yep. The hub of small business. I like how you put that. That was great. Okay, so you just encompass a lot of what a chamber does. So that makes it more challenging for Barb and Beth. What else would you guys add to the jobs of your chamber?
Well, I agree 100%, of course. I like to focus a lot on the community that the chamber can provide. You know, we're not made to do life alone. We need one another. It's the same in the business world. Whether a business has gone before you and they can help you with pitfalls or things to avoid, whether you're in the same industry or not, it doesn't matter, but just giving them that community. And with small business owners, you know, a lot of them, they're on their own, you know, it's just them, but to have others alongside them or encourage them, absolutely 100%. Yes.
Love it. So, hub of small business, community. All right, Barb. Tough question for you. They've covered a lot. What else?
They have. And I, of course, agree with both of them. I think a lot of people don't realize that the Chamber of Commerce is used to amplify the voice of those businesses, whether they're an entrepreneur all the way up to a corporation. If they have struggles or needs, we've got the contacts. We are that connection point for them. You know, if they need help to secure a location or maybe there's a challenge, we know how to put them in front of the right key decision makers. And it goes back to that. We used to be the Google before we were Google, but it's so true. We are here for advocacy efforts. We're here for workforce development. We support affordable and attainable housing. We do so much, and I think that, you know, and it's people like you that allow us to be able to talk about what we do so they know that they can come to us to help them seek that information through our programs, through our events, even through just general connections.
Well, and that's one of the reasons. So as we were laying out the topics that we wanted to talk about and the individuals that we wanted to connect with through the community difference, your guys' missions are very aligned to what we're doing with the community difference. So it was a natural fit at some point to figure out how do we bring in, what is the best way, and how do we bring in, who do we bring in from the Chamber of Commerce, specific to, at the time it was, we started with Frisco, we had Plano. So then it was like, okay, how do we make the splash with the community difference, Collin County? And that's where, you know, we brought you guys in for the panel discussion. We have you guys on the podcast now because your mission is very aligned with our mission at the community difference. So love that, you know, we're so congruent in that regard. And however we can help you guys and you can help us, that's, you know, that's what we're here for. Lauren, I think you were going to have a question for the ladies.
I do. It's twofold, and would love to hear from each of you. But first part of the question is like, why do you think that your city is a good place for a small business, and how do you attract local businesses to the chamber?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll break that. So, you know, our tagline here in McKinney is unique by nature. So I think that with our square, super successful downtown square, it gives you that hometown feel, but we're actually a pretty large city. You know, with over 220,000, we're catching up quickly to the Friscos of the world. And so we have the amenities. As far as land, we have a ways to go before we're built out. We have the parks and rec, which is amazing. But we have a very strong local government and EDC, Economic Development Corp, and CDC that bring in those businesses of all different sizes. And one of our biggest draws, aside from our connection to two major interstates, is our airport. And so with our airport, we were just approved to go commercial. So that is it's been helping our local businesses here that need to fly in and out. But now we're going to have that that commercial service as well. So I think when you're looking at that, you're starting to see that McKinney is really coming to a there's nice incentives involved. And I'm trying to remember what that second question was, Laura.
How you attract those small local businesses to the chamber?
Yeah, so I think that partnering with our Economic Development Corp and our Community Development Corp is going to be instrumental. But working with the other businesses to learn what's going on in our community, what type of businesses are attracted to us. And a lot of that right now is our tech. So when we're going out and we're meeting people across the state, across the country, we have such a great partnership with our city that we as a chamber are allowed to talk to them as well to say, what can we do to bring you here? What are things that we can put in place as a chamber to bring you to McKinney to show you this is where you need to have your business?
That's awesome. I love the seeking of feedback because I think it makes a big difference.
Well, and I love, so that's good perspective from what I'll call a bigger municipality here in Collin County, right? Because I live in Frisco. I'm a member of the Frisco Chamber of Commerce. You know, the larger communities have a bit more developed, or at least higher membership, right? Just because of the sheer population. So I'm really curious to hear, especially on the Princeton side, from the growth aspect, how big is the Princeton Chamber at the moment, and how are you similar to Lauren's question, just kind of building off it, how are you attracting people to the Princeton Chamber?
So we are just under 200 members. It does fluctuate, depending on the ebbs and flows of just business. I think providing them that networking, that community, letting them know, hey, we're here. We're ready to help get your business name out there. We have new resident welcome bags that their information can go in. Well, that's going to a lot of people since we're the fastest growing city in the nation. But just helping them navigate those avenues, how to get their business out, their name out, ribbon cuttings, publicity, posting them on social media, giving them sponsorship opportunities. Princeton is kind of a clean slate, as far as businesses. We don't have a ton. We're getting there, because the rooftops are here now. So yeah, just allowing them to see the value that we can come alongside and just continue what they're trying to do.
Awesome. And I'm sorry, I'm stealing all these questions, but I'm so curious because I know how the EDC and the chambers work in Frisco, and it sounds like it's very similar in McKinney. How dialed in and how side by side are you with the EDC in Princeton?
So that is something that we are working on, strengthening that partnership. Back in January, we have a new CEO of the EDC and CDC who started out as a chamber exec. So that is to my benefit. Mm-hmm. So he knows what it's like in my position. And we've started, I was presenting to EDC and CDC just Tuesday, Wednesday night, letting them know what's going on, ways that we can partner with one another. So we're getting that off the ground. Classes for small businesses, they're partnering with us on the back to school bash, and just building that. Like I said, there's a lot of clean slate here. And so we can make it what we need it to be.
Yeah. Love it. Awesome. Well, and then kind of in between. So let's go to Marianne, same, building off of Lauren's question, same thing. Do you guys, you have an EDC, you've been around a little bit longer than Princeton. I don't know age-wise, if you've been around as long as McKinney from a Chamber of Commerce standpoint, but it sounds like you have a lot of the same programs. How are you guys attracting, businesses? You have more businesses in Wiley than Princeton, for instance, not as many as McKinney, I would imagine. But how are you guys attracting business? And then, the follow-up, how are you guys in lockstep, or are you guys in lockstep with the Wiley area EDC?
Absolutely. So that's one of the things we're the most proud of is the partnerships that we have, the Chamber, the EDC, the Downtown Merchants, the ISD, the City of Wiley. We all ultimately have the same goal. We just represent different entities, right? Shout out to Jason and his team at the EDC. They do phenomenal work. They've done a great job over the years. I mean, the face of Wiley has changed over the last 5 to 10 years. And that doesn't just happen, right? They've done a great job, and they're working day in and day out. And they're also, working with the other entities, in partnership. And so they do a great job attracting businesses. And I would tell you too, they then direct them to us. Let us, get them to be members. Let us help them get their customers and promote their business and get the brand awareness out there. So, it is a great partnership between all of the entities in town. And I don't know if every city can say that. I really don't know. But that was one of the coolest things about Wiley, and continues to be so, is that we all work together. We all want to have family-oriented events. We all want to have big business, small business. We all want to shop local. We all just want it to be a great place for us to live and work, and for our kids to grow up. So it's just, each one represents a different entity, and it seems to work out pretty well. So,
yeah, I love that. And that's one of the stories we heard as a commonality when we did the panel at the Business Development Alliance a couple months ago, as well as some of the more, I'll call it more recent partnerships with the city organizations. I think historically, people or businesses had viewed it's the EDC versus the Chamber, not both of them kind of working in lockstep. And I think that perception has changed as a lot of those organizations and a lot of the cities have learned that, as these two organizations partner together, we can do a lot more good for the community than we can if we're operating in vacuums, or if there's a perceived us versus them sort of thing. So love to hear that that's going on across your communities. So that's awesome stuff. What we're going to do real quick, take another short commercial break. We're going to come back, and I know Bethany has been chomping at the bit to ask her question. So stick with us. We'll be right back, and we'll get a little bit deeper into the Chambers of Commerce.
The Community Difference would like to thank each of the following partners for their continued support. At Fireboss Realty, we believe life is about relationships, and everything else is just details. Whether you're buying or selling, Scott and Amy Johnson are here to understand your family's unique needs and deliver expert guidance on the North Texas real estate market. With a reputation for integrity and personalized service, Fireboss Realty makes your home journey stress-free and successful. Ready to make your move? Visit firebossrealty.com and let's ignite your real estate dreams.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you. Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
Now back to the show.
All right, welcome back. We are having a discussion with 3 of the leaders of local chambers of commerce and diving into the things that they can do for small businesses as the hub of the business community, as we've heard, as the connector. There was one other word, as the community. These were key things that I peeled out of the previous discussion. So we're going to continue diving a little bit deeper with these leaders of the chambers of commerce. Bethany, I know you were going to ask a question. You are on mute, just as a heads up.
I never know what little pups might want to say hello. So I have to always be careful about that. And I really want to come in from a small business person's perspective as we talk about the chamber and what it can provide for businesses. And I think, coming from my perspective, a lot of what people feel like is the chamber is for big businesses. It's for big things that are coming into the community, and they're going to provide big things because those companies are big. Speak on that from a small person's perspective, anywhere from 2 to 50 employees. How do you make them feel engaged in the community? The chamber is worth their while, and what you all can, collaborate together on to make it a successful venture for both parties.
I can speak on that. I would tell you the majority of our membership is small businesses. 1 to 25 employees is what we consider it. I would tell you the very first thing we do is, find out who referred them, where'd they come from? Are they a brand new business? How long have they been in business? We get to know them as fast as we can. And we spend a good hour or 2 of time with them individually to make sure that we do, right? Now, we do encourage them to get involved, especially at the beginning, as much as humanly possible. We do a little bit of business coaching as well. It is very hard as a new entrepreneur or as a small business, especially every business has different schedules, right? Some are restaurants. Some are 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Some are real estate agents that have a little bit more freedom of schedule, but we really encourage them to get involved as quickly as possible. But not only to do that, to really invest their time wisely, and then to ensure that they are making connections at each and everything that they're doing, right? But one of the things that I always add when I do talk to our new small business members and that kind of thing is I let them know, like, hey, if you're not going to put in the time and the work and the effort, yes, you'll still have an online listing. Yes, we'll still promote you and all of that. But ultimately, we don't want you to just make back your return on investment. If that's all you're getting from us, I feel like we have done a terrible job. Okay. We want you to thrive, right? And we also know what that means and how hard it is or how easy it can be, right? Once you get to that point, now you got a whole nother set of problems, right? You're going to need help with. And so we just encourage, get involved in any way that is possible, all the free ways, all the benefit ways, whatever it means to you. And we take a good amount of time and go through the benefits specific to that business. Because again, different schedules, different needs, different goals, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. And if I may, I agree with Marianne. Even though we're a large city, a majority of our businesses are the small business, the 1 through 50. And so the one thing that we've noticed over the last few years, especially when it comes to retention and keeping those small businesses with the chamber, is they feel guilty about not taking advantage of the benefits. And, we offer a ton of things, get involved, be there. This is marketing opportunities. But when it comes down to it, they're like, why I don't have, like, I'm giving you money, but I can't go to anything. So we've really kind of focused on asking them, well, do you know who we are and what our mission is and why giving to us is going to help the community at large and help you bring business into your door. And when they understand that that's what we're doing, is being that voice, finding the workforce so you're not so lean on staff all the time, and understanding that their commitment to the chamber is committing to the community. And so it has really been enlightening the last couple of years to really understand that. And then by doing that, we can connect them. We can bring people to them, whether that be like, hey, let's have a meeting at this restaurant, or let me get you in front of the restaurant association, or, oh, so you're having challenges on finding help. Let me get you in front of workforce development. So I think that that's something that's really important when we look at the small businesses in our area.
Yes, I like both of those, all of the things. We do try to keep a membership level price wise where it's manageable, whether that's a monthly payment option or something like that. We have a lot of those work from home businesses, or we don't have a brick and mortar. So a ribbon cutting celebration, we will do that at a business and breakfast, or a lunch and learn, or a business after hours, where people are already there. They can invite their friends, their family as well. But then we still celebrate. You know, you just opened last month. Great. Let's celebrate that. What a greater time than now. But just letting them see that it doesn't matter to us as chambers what business size you are. We still want to celebrate them and do all the good things with them too. So.
Well, I love that because I don't know if you guys saw on the screen, it popped up. Tracy Duff. Hi, Tracy. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your question that you put in the group. I think each one of you guys, there it is right there. So it gets to the feeling of isolation, right? If you're a smaller business owner, you can certainly get that isolation. Like, I'm just a small fish in a big pond here. And so thank you for sharing some of those ways that you guys are getting the small fish involved. I can, and I'll share this story a little bit with my experience with the Frisco Chamber, because I think because I had that same feeling when I started my business. I own a property management company. I'm in real estate, and I was a brand new entrepreneur, 7 years ago. And I heard, hey, get involved in the chamber. Okay, cool. What does that entail? Sign up for it, right? Okay, pay your whatever it is, the dues, and there's different levels of membership, right? So I'm like, well, I'm just going to start at the smallest level and try to figure it out. Well, I went to a networking breakfast, and it was intimidating. There's 100 people there, and you got to stand up and give a 30-second commercial. First time I had ever gone into that environment, and it was intimidating. So I can see why people may not go back, or feel like, man, that might not be for me. But I kept going back, and what made me feel more and more comfortable was the ambassadorship, right? And I heard, I can't remember which one of you ladies, and maybe it was multiple of you, that mentioned the ambassador program. Ambassadors are there to help you make one-to-one or one to several introductions, not necessarily be part of that massive, huge breakfast or huge lunch or whatever it is, and you don't know anybody. Well, that's what the ambassadors do. They help make those connections at whatever event you're at. So that helped me get more involved from my personal perspective. And then I just started meeting more and more people at the chamber events, meeting more people who work for the chamber, and it just kind of snowballs, right? So if anybody's out there feeling like they might be that small fish in a big pond, connect with your ambassador. That was my key in opening and unlocking some of the connections that the chamber can make, to the point where, again, my experience with the Frisco Chamber, I've gone through the Leadership Frisco program. It was wonderful. And I heard I heard Wiley has one. I know McKinney has one. Princeton, I don't know if you guys have one, but that's going to be my next question. And I know I'm just looking at the clock here, so I don't want to make us go over time. But I do want to hear about some of those. If you guys have a leadership program, I'd love to hear, what type of businesses are getting involved, what type of people, how many people are reaching out to those programs to apply for them, because I know it's very competitive in Frisco. It was a wonderful experience. I had high expectations going into it, and I can tell you the Frisco leadership program exceeded my expectations, and it really ignited even more so the servant leadership aspect that I have in me. So I'd love to hear more about your guys' programs from a leadership standpoint. And Marianne, I saw you nodding your head. Why don't you tell me about the Wiley program?
I'm so excited about the Wiley program. So I actually am a Leadership Wiley graduate, class 18, and then liaison of class 19. And then ever since I've been on the board, as I now work for the chamber. So our program is phenomenal. We are accepting applications right now at wileychamber.org. All the details are on there. So it's a commitment, right? You have to commit one full day a month for 10 months, every month, to be there, right? And we go over leadership qualities. We teach you what it takes to be a leader. But you also get to know the ins and outs of the community and outside the community as well. We get to we've partnered with McKinney, we've partnered with Plano, we've copied a little bit of their stuff, right? We've shared, right? But I would tell you, I'll give you an example. My favorite day from my class was the day we walked into the North Texas Municipal Water District. We got to tour the facility. And I don't know why, but when we walked around the corner and I'm seeing scientists with beakers and all sorts of cool stuff, and then they start showing us the flow of the millions and millions of gallons of water that goes all the way to Oklahoma, down to Austin. I had no idea. To be able to see it and understand, wow, look at this asset that we have in Wiley that some people pass by every day and think it's just a big building, a big employer. It was just very eye-opening. So you get to have those experiences. You also get to hang out with police department and fire department, do what they do. You get to put on the fire suit, which I elected not to participate in. I was not dressed for it. I dressed up that day. But you get to do all these things and really kind of see it in a more personal level. And it really helps you appreciate the entities in town on a different level, which I think is important for leaders to know and understand when they, decide that they do want to be a leader in a community, right? You really need to have a different perspective and point of view, or an additional perspective and point of view of these entities. So,
yeah, love it. I love hearing everybody's favorite part of, if they've been through the program, what was their favorite day or favorite experience. So that's a good one. The Water District, absolutely. Barb, I know leadership. McKinney was mentioned. I know you guys have a pretty robust program. Tell us about Leadership McKinney.
Yeah, so we are in the 36th year of our leadership program. We have the largest class at 36. We have selected the class, and they start next month. It is a 9-month robust program, much like Wiley. We love partnering with Wiley, and it is highly sought after. We had well over 70 applicants this year, and the class is made up of what the community looks like. So when the selection committee comes together, we look at who's applied, what type of business, where they live, like what their district is, even, basically the class looks like the community. And I think that's very, very important, because we need that type of diversity to understand what makes this fine city click every day. I am actually the facilitator of the program. I'm also a leadership alumni. I graduated in 2019, so it's a big deal. If I were to have to say, my favorite time for me was Legislative Day. We've actually increased that, where back when I went through, it was a 1-day drive down to Austin, drive back, and now it's an overnight stay. I think that a lot of people don't realize that the decisions that are being made in Austin is affecting our communities here every day. And so really understanding how that all connects is really important. And then I love to say that most of our city council is Leadership McKinney. And so I feel like when you can develop those class members into leaders, whatever that may look like, whether it be a servant leadership or whether it's government or a leader in your own home. Whatever that looks like, I feel like that is such a win. And we have a very robust alumni program that follows that. So I'm very proud of our program.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let me ask you a question. How many applicants did you have this year?
Us?
Yep.
We had 72.
Nice. Okay. And you,
what did Frisco have? Because I'm super curious. I'm competitive.
I don't know the actual number. I'm going to be reviewing applications with a red marker next week. So
Ooh,
yeah,
fun.
I can tell you more next week.
Okay.
But awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And real quick, we've got a few minutes, but Beth, does Princeton have a leadership program yet?
We don't. So I was going to say I'm a chamber baby. This is my second year working for the Chamber of Commerce. November's when I stepped into the president role, but it is on my wish list. And especially after today, it's moving up higher.
Love it.
We would love to help if you need help.
I was going to say
that program. Absolutely.
I was going to say, please keep your phones ready because I'm going to need lots of mentoring. So
100%.
100%.
Well, and there are so many great leadership programs in the area with Collin County communities. And, I can speak to Frisco. We've heard, too, with Wiley and McKinney here. I know Allen has a robust one. Plano has a robust one. So there are plenty of opportunities to learn from. I love making the connection right here on our show. But, yeah, that's, all the resources are here and very willing to help. So I'm glad to hear that from both McKinney and Wiley. So, okay, awesome. Well, we are up against it on time, but I did want to mention the fact that leadership has been a discussion here over the last several minutes, and local government was another one that was brought up with the state government day. That was one of my favorite days in the Leadership Frisco program. We are actually going to be touching on both of those topics here in upcoming months as we dive into the topic of leadership number one. That'll be in the month of August. And then we are also incorporating, local government, how that incorporates with state government and state legislature. It meets every other year. So we'll get into some of that as well in future episodes. But I'm glad you guys touched on both of those because it's a nice little segue into our future shows. With that, we're going to kind of just do a call to action, a wrap up. Some of the themes that I heard in the show today across whatever Chamber of Commerce it may be, but I heard hub of small business. That was one of the good buzzwords that I heard. I heard the word community. I heard the word connection. I heard the word advocacy. That is absolutely what the Chambers of Commerce do, whether it's a small one like here in Frisco or a big one like here in Frisco or in McKinney, or a smaller one or a medium-sized one, right? They all are doing the same thing. The key is to reach out to those leaders and the ambassadors of those programs to get involved. So, ladies, thank you so much. Once again, we're going to go around the horn real quick. Mary, we'll start with you. Just remind people who you are, what organization you're with, and how they can get in touch with you.
So, Marianne Olson, I am the membership coordinator for the Wiley Area Chamber of Commerce, as well as ad sales for the Wiley Area Connection publication. They can call us at the office, 972-442-2804. Send me an email, adsales@wileychamber.org. Just walk in. We've got somebody at the office every single day. We'd love to talk to you if you're, interested in what the chamber can offer. I'm here for you. Just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Marianne. Barb, you're up next.
Yeah, Barb Delk. I'm the Business Development Director for the McKinney Chamber of Commerce. You can reach me via email. Just go on our website at mckinneychamber.com. Send me an email through there. Again, you can walk in. The door is always open, and we would love to see you.
Love it. Thank you, Barb. And Beth, last but not least.
Beth Wilhite, Princeton Lowry Crossing Chamber of Commerce. Yes, website is a great way to connect with us. And we're right on Highway 380, so stop in, say hi.
Awesome. Love it. Well, thank you, ladies, for the insight on the Chamber of Commerce, what it does for our small to medium-sized businesses, how to get involved, all of it. That's super valuable. So thank you so much for that. One thing I do want to mention is, since we're talking about calls to action, I do want to mention our Business Development Alliance meetings. They happen the third Wednesday of every month. As we mentioned, there's the one that we had for the Chambers of Commerce. That's the one that we did back in May. There's some pictures from it. Like I said, it's a great experience because you get to learn from the panel, whatever topic we're talking about. That was the Chamber of Commerce one. Last month we had the EDCs, several leaders of local EDCs. Next month we will be talking about business funding. So we have business credit expert, we have SBA loan expert, we have commercial lending experts. So there are various different aspects of business funding. So if you are starting a small business or you have a business already and are looking to expand, that is going to be a very informative session for you, not to mention the networking aspect of it. We network before and after, and of course, in networking, we're making connections, right? So that is the whole goal of the Business Development Alliance. It is every third Wednesday of every month at the NAC Theater in downtown Frisco. We kick off at 11:30 a.m. and go to 1 p.m. There is lunch available to order with those. So that's, you better be at our next BDA is the call to action. All right. Co-host Bethany, Lauren, anything else that you guys want to add before we sign off here?
No, just appreciate y'all's time. Thank you so much for carving out of your busy schedules to be on the podcast and to share your knowledge and experience with our viewers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Bethany, you are on mute. I hear you talking, but you are on mute.
I agree with Lauren. So informative. Like you guys, it's amazing to see the difference between, a large chamber and then a smaller one that's just getting started, and just how we can all work together and collaborate to provide just, exciting things for everybody in their communities. So thank you so much for the opportunity today to be here with us.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you all again from me, the host of the show, Brian Podusko, owner of Real Property Management Focus. We appreciate your time. We appreciate everything you do for your communities. And with that, we are going to say goodbye. Have a safe, wonderful weekend, and we will see you back here in 2 weeks. Take care all. Bye-bye.
The Community Difference, Collin County was made possible by Brian Podusko with Real Property Management Focus, Bethany Ralwin with the Beer Ralwin Realty Group, Jacqueline Kreider with Financial Mastery Simplified, Debbie Watson with Abracadoodle, and by Lauren Gill with My Live, Love, Travel. The Community Difference, Collin County. Together, we can make the difference.